Hey YouTube, good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanted to come on really quickly for just a few minutes. You see, I have on my holiday sweater for you. And I want to talk to you as a therapist of 30 years just about how to make it through the holidays. I really want to talk about men, depression, mental health, and anxiety. And this motivation really comes from what happened with um, the young man Stitch, and it just reminded me of men and kind of what they are going through. So this is going to be real quick. So whether you watch this live or you're going to watch this i- as a replay, I want you to really be open, especially during the holidays, as to how people feel. Get in touch with those strong people, those people that seemingly have everything going on. But let me talk about men, depression, and mental health. You guys know that I've been a therapist for 30 years, and for 10 of those years, I was conducting therapy and support groups specifically just for men to give men an opportunity to really share about how they feel, all of the stuff that they were going through, etc. And this is what I found out from my many therapy and support groups. Number one, men don't feel like they have a safe place to really share how they feel. They have been really, what's the word, programmed by society that you got to be strong. And in the group, some of the men said to me, "Well, Constance, I'm the fixer. I'm the one that makes things happen. When there's the problem, I am the solution." And so for years, many of the men that I worked with have been holding in childhood stuff, had been holding in just emotional, sometimes trauma for decades. And I always say, you were never created by God to carry the weight of your own issues or the weight of your stuff. And I really feel compassion for men because they're just carrying so much. So I want to say, secondly, you never know what anybody is going through. I know when I felt like taking my own life, nobody knew. I would go on stage and perform and then come off and really be depressed. I would go on stage and speak and really come off really being sad and depressed. So, ladies and sisters, let's look out for our men. Let's ask, how are you doing? You've been a little quiet lately. What's going on? You got to remember that men are really tied to and identified with their work. When you come on, kind of let me know who you are. Men are quiet. That's why they have the man cave. And I always say, "What are you guys doing in there?" And they say, "Well, I'm just thinking." And so everybody needs to reach out and just begin to share. "Hey, man, you seem like you've been a little off lately. What's going on? You've been very quiet." And so in my therapy groups, a lot of the men medicated their feelings or medicated their stuff with alcohol that numbs you, with smoking that numbs you, with sports or just being so busy, but they were still carrying the weight of everything on the inside. I'm going to say it again. You were never created by God to carry the weight of your own stuff. I know what I was going to say. Um, Men are really identified with their work. I mean, their identity is tied in. Men are routine. They get up, they go to work, they are identified with their work. So if they lose that work, they feel like they're losing purpose, or if what they have always done or what they have routinely been accustomed to or any kind of routine stuff. A man's identity is really deeply tied to his work. It gives him purpose. So when that is no longer there, it really creates an inner crisis. And I know what I'm talking about because some of the men in my group would say, I feel less than a man. Or if they got downsized, I worked in corporate America for a while and worked in personnel, and I would work with people who have been downsized. I mean, their identity is so tied with that. And so when they don't have that anymore, there is a loss. In our society, we talk about our accomplishments. We're on social media talking about this is how much money I made, this is my accomplishments, this is my latest book, this is how much weight I lost. But nobody teaches us how to deal with the loss, how to deal with disappointment, how to deal with hopelessness. And all I wanted to say on this quick video is let's really be sensitive to each other. I know what it's like to feel hopeless. Y'all know my story where I was depressed after my divorce. I was on antidepressants. I had laid my pills on the side and I went to church that night. And in my thinking, that was going to be my last day on earth. However, comma, God, spirit is always with us. I went to a church, hadn't been there before, sat all the way in the back. The pastor got up to teach and then he stopped. He pointed me out and said, "That lady all the way in the back." I turned around. I'm like, "You couldn't be talking about me." And somebody touched me and said, "He's talking about you." And what he said to me prophetically, God knew you were going to take your life tonight. Don't do it. You're going to be touching people all over the world, etc. But many people don't have that. Now, studies show that men talk a lot less than women. They did a study of these two kindergarten classes, and we spoke so many more times than men than the little boys did. So maybe if you ask your husband or your male friend, "How you doing?" "I'm good." "What's going on?" "I got this." And we don't know what was going on with Twitch, and that's none of my business, but I just want to say that many times men feel hopeless, they feel overwhelmed, they feel like, man, if I really open up to my woman, she's gonna not think that I'm strong, etc. So the whole purpose of this video is to remind you, if you see anybody during the holidays isolated, alone, if you're not able to sleep at night, if there has been a tremendous loss in your life. I know a lady who people who've lost their dog. I mean, that's something you're going to be feeling. We are emotional and spiritual beings. And so your emotions have to be dealt with. So whether you lost a friend, a home, your dog, maybe it was the loss of a dream, what you thought would be, what you thought would have manifested by this time at the end of 2022. Maybe you thought you would be further along in your thinking and emotions that needs to be processed, and many people do that alone. So we want to really be sensitive to people. Okay, let me know where you're from. This is my first time. Okay. Well, you never see me live on YouTube. I don't come live a lot, but I do come. But I felt like coming live today. And so many people just hold stuff in. As I said, we're taught to share our accomplishments, but so many people are sad during the holidays and don't really know how to deal with the loss. Uh, if you went through a divorce this year, I mean, that's a loss. If you look at the stress chart, death is number one for the level of stress, but divorce is number two. So make sure you are dealing with your emotions. Reach out. I think the number is 988 and get you some help. Email me, guys, Constance at fulfillingyourpurpose.com. Because remember, I've worked with all male support and therapy groups for a decade, and I'm really in touch with how you feel and what's going on with you. A lot of times I will refer men out to deal with the male therapist. I don't have any issue with that, but I'm just saying that just because of what happened this week, I wanted to address men specifically. And I want to go over really quickly the five stages of grief. And I've taught this class so many times. The first one is denial. You're just in denial about what has happened. And then there's a bargaining, is where God, if you just bring my job back or make that happen, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And then there's depression. So the issue is when you hold stuff in, when you hold trauma, your feelings, what really happened over time, it like stews and marinates and it turns into depression. Most men ain't gonna talk about depression. They're just gonna hold it in and keep working and keep busy. And then lastly, there's acceptance. So the stages of grief are denial. I'm going to say shock. You're shocked that you're where you are. And loss can be, wow, I thought by now I would have been married, or I thought by now I would be making X number of dollars. Loss can mean anything. So there's denial, there's anger. I think I left out anger the first time. You are so angry. God, how could this happen to me? How could I lose my job? Then there's bargaining, and then there's depression, and then there's acceptance. And the funny thing is, as long as I have been teaching classes on grief, they sometimes don't go in that order. You may think that you are over something and you'll come back to depression. So the whole purpose of this video for me coming on the live, the young lady said she never seen me live. For me coming on live is to say to men and to women that especially during the holidays, watch your emotions. So some people say, well, I got God. And I'm telling you to reach out to the God in somebody. Put shame behind you, put pride behind you. And and I as I say, watch out for all your strong friends like me. We teaching, we motivating. Oh, somebody sent me a motivational video this morning from New York. She is, maybe she's going to watch this, but uh, all of you guys know I love Pat McGrath lipstick, and she's a Pat McGrath representative, and we somehow connected. And she said, Constance, I want you to look at this motivational video. So I called her back and I said, thank you so much. Simply because, as a teacher, as a motivator, as a talk show host, I need it too. So all your strong people, all of your got it going on people, all your people, I'm the boss. All of those people, I'm going after the bag. All those people that are always giving, check in on your strong people, got it going on people, and just say how you doing. How you really feeling? My mentor, Pastor James Pyrus, whenever he calls me, he said, "How are you?" I said, I'm good." And then he comes back with, Constance, how are you really feeling and doing? That is a deeper question. And so I hope that this helps you. I always say, reach out. People say, well, I got God. Well, I want you to reach out and touch the God in somebody, touch another human being. Say to them, I've been a little off. I've been thinking some crazy thoughts. I've been thinking, what is life all about? I've been feeling hopeless. I thought by now I would have, and it's Christmas again, and I'm feeling some kind of way. Reach out, and sometimes when you do reach out, most times, that other person, that's why I say call 988 because they can give you, that's the hotline. I've worked that hotline before. I want to make sure that's the right number. I've worked that hotline before. What you share will be confidential, but it's so interesting. Sometimes when you're in the middle of something, I'm still looking for the hotline, y'all. When you're in the middle of something, somebody can just say one word, one sentence, a ray of hope. Be like, okay, I can go one more day. A ray of hope. You may realize I can tap into God's grace. God loves me. There's a solution to this issue. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed right now. So, when that ray of hope, that ray of grace, uh, that ray of people love me, I can get through this. When you begin to remember what God has brought you through. So this was just short, sweet, and to the point, but I'm looking to make sure I got the right number, guys. I think it's 988. They changed it since it is. It's 988. And you can call anytime. It's open 24/7. Nobody teaches us how to walk through our stuff. And as I said earlier, we were never created by God to carry the weight of our own stuff. That there is a wonderful life ahead of you. There are wonderful surprises waiting for you. God's grace is surrounding you. People love you. You're not alone. So reach out and get the help that you need. Everybody, have a great day.